You know, I wish I'd got £1 for every time I've heard someone say they started their shooting with the following gun. I'd have enough money to start a small armoury. But this is the new, built here in Blighty, super version of the stalwart BSA Meteor. Hello and welcome to AAR on Air. This week is a look at the built in Britain BSA Meteor. This is the latest version of the Meteor. It's the Meteor Super and has a gas ram technology on board. Let's take a closer look first, and then naturally we'll get it out on the range to test accuracy and usage. This is 110.5 centimetres or 43.5 inches long and tips the scales at around 3 kilograms or 6.6 pounds unscoped. The unscoped part is important because you have fixed sights and don't have to fit any external sighting aid if you don't want to. It is a break barrel and has 47 centimetre or 18.5 inches of BSA cold hammer forged barrel on it, which means there is witchcraft at play, and this is usually a very good sign that there is accuracy to be had from this really well finished rifle. From the front then, the first thing to point out is a standard 1/2 inch UNF thread on the end to be able to take a silencer of your choice. Now at this point, as I've said on many occasions, a lot of the noise from break barrels comes from the internals at the rear end, but there is an element of crack from the air leaving the barrel. Some thread on this. So adding a silencer will give you the ability to reduce that and leave you comfortable in the knowledge that you've done as much as you possibly can to keep the neighbourhood happy. Without a silencer, bit of a crack to it. With a silencer, it quietens that end down, no end. Still got some sound from here. Moving back then, we come to the open front sight, which is fixed with fibre optics to give you maximum visual aid if you're using the open sights. This sits nicely on the Birmingham-made BSA cold hammer forged barrel, as we said earlier, which I have waxed lyrical about on so many occasions, and I've not had one let me down in the countless number of BSA rifles that I've shot. Further down, we come to the rear open sights, which again have fibre optics on board and are fully adjustable for windage and elevation. This is going to give you about as much adjustment as you're likely to need. And of course, it is surprising just how many people still use open sights for personal preferences or budgetary reasons. Either way, you won't be disappointed with these sights. For the rest of us who are visually challenged and find open sights impractical to use, then there is a dovetail rail along the top to allow you to fit a scope of your choice. Naturally, there is the customary arrestor stop hole to keep everything nicely in place and prevent scope creep, as is common on Springer type rifles. Just down from here is the safety, which is nicely positioned and easy to use with a defined action. This isn't an automatic safety, which pleases some and not others. But in this particular argument, there are no winners, just personal preference. The trigger is surrounded by a steel trigger guard of traditional style, and I think it's all the better for it. The trigger, whilst not match grade, is very comfortable and is a two-stage item that is also adjustable and quite broad. So if it's not to your exact liking, then even the fussiest of users can make this fit their preferences with the adjustments. to the very rear is a rubberized butt pad to take out some of that recoil that comes standard with most brake barrels. Well, that's all the black bits out of the way, which only leaves that stock. What can I say? It's beech that looks more like a nice piece of walnut, and it's made by Manelli, which gives it a guarantee of quality, not a rough edge anywhere. Indeed, I wouldn't even look for it if from my personal experiences, and I only did it for the purposes of this review. The checkering is graded, which I think adds a level of style and sophistication to it, but still gives the gripability, if there is such a word. Naturally, it sports the logos of Manelli and BSA, wearing them with its own form of pride on the familiar BSA-shaped ambidextrous stock. The next thing to do is to get this over the chronograph to test this out for its UK power levels. This is a 177 caliber, and using the BSA Gold Stars weighing in at 8.64 grains, it saw 781 feet per second, which is 11.71 foot-pounds or 15.87 joules, which is just about perfect, which means it can be used for target work, pest control, or simply plinking in the back garden with your family or friends. I thought I would take this opportunity to pop some heavier black stars in at 10.49 grains, which saw 669 feet per second, which is 10.43 foot-pounds or 14.14 joules. The spread over a 10-shot string was only 9 feet per second, which means this is also pretty consistent, which should be aided by the gas ram technology on board. It certainly prefers the lighter pellets rather than the heavier black stars, quite a difference in power levels indeed, and highlights how this has been set up at the factory. Time to get some optics on this and get it out on the range to see how we both work together. I've chosen the Vector Orion, which is an amazing scope for the price. So here goes. Out at about 35 metres to give me a fighting chance. BSA Meteor Super. Yeah, I've heard so many people over the years say, oh, it's the gun I started with, the gun I started with. And to be honest, I can see why they would go for it. It's certainly beautifully made. It's a Manelli stock on it, as we've already said. Not a mark, absolutely beautiful. You'd give it up for walnut all day long. It's comfortable. This is the thing you can't get across when you're just explaining something. The grip is a nice, it's a handful of grip. It's beautiful. That staged checkering is really nice and grippy. It feels comfortable. It's exactly where I would want it. Yeah, nice butt stop to take some of that kick out of it. I've put a Vector Optics Orion on there, although these kits do come with a 3-9 BSA. They're just throwing those in. It's got the cold hammer forged barrel. You've got open sights if you're an open sight shooter, and to be honest, they're really very positive on the clicks, etc. It's a nice set of sights, and they are very clear and bright because they're fibre optic. It's got a cold hammer forged barrel, as I say, so it should be accurate. The only thing is, of course, this is a proper brake barrel. Yes, it's gas ram technology on it. It's a GRT. That said, though, it still has a kick, which means it's completely different to shooting a PCP or the like, or even such as the Diana Model 54, which has got a recoil system, but it's nowhere near the price of that. You're getting an awful lot of quality for not a huge amount of money. Triggers adjustable, but it's very broad. It feels really nice. You've got that first stage before it then pulls and kicks. Yeah, not a lot to say that I wouldn't praise it for. I can't think of anything as a negative, to be perfectly honest. The only thing that is against it, as far as I'm concerned, is I'm a non-Springer shooter, really, so I wouldn't ordinarily go for a Springer. But for the quality and the price range, the quality you're getting, that you can't fault it. If you like your springers, you're going to love this. So we've got the camera down there, we've got the targets out. Let's give it a go. I'm not looking forward to this bit because, I say, I'm not normally what you would class as a springer shooter. That action, it's worth just mentioning that, because it's gas ram, it's quite smooth. Yeah, you've got a bit of pull against it because you've got a fair bit of power in there, but it is progressively smooth. Now, next time I'm actually going to be shooting one of the spring versions of BSA. So there you go. There's a bit of a spoiler alert, but that one is just the spring, and the action is not as smooth as it is on the gas ram. After saying that, it's not anything other than smooth in itself, but you can, when you've got them side by side, you can definitely tell the difference between gas ram and spring. Anyway, too much of this. Let's have a go at this, shall we? Not too bad a day. It's fairly calm. Not a bad start. You just know it's not going to continue like that. I've only roughly zeroed the scope in because I'm more interested in the grouping, which is not only the consistency of the gun, but it means the consistency of me, which that's the questionable part. Like I said, I am not a springer shooter. Now these barrels, I've seen them made, it is just pure witchcraft. And the failing here is undoubtedly the idiot behind the trigger. I promise you that. I'd love to see this in the hands of a real springer shooter. You know what? I do get this springer business because it challenges you more. It's not like picking up a PCP that puts the same pellet through the same hole, or puts a pellet through the same hole each and every time. You've got to work these things, you've got to try harder, and I get it. Yeah, they're quite addictive. They are quite addictive. I know it's only a single shot. I should really take the rise out of it and say, oh, how many shots do you get out of a fill? One. But hey, this, yeah, it's a nice piece of kit. Nice finish, nice quality. In the hands of the right person, you're going to be really accurate with this. Anything that's not quite right there is my fault. Nice gun. Anyway, rather than me just gushing over it, back to the studio. Now that wasn't too shabby at all. This is a really lovely thing to use, and you do feel like you've got a quality item in your hands. The familiarity of the BSA Manelli stock does help, but it is a quick thing to get settled down with. Price is probably the next thing. Well, this will set you back around £314 UK, and currently Vector are doing it with a free 3-9x40 BSA scope and mounts included. All this does make this pretty excellent value for money when you're getting all this quality for around £300. It's likely to last you years and years. Remember me saying about all those people who started with the BSA Meteor so many years ago? Well, most of those people still have their original Meteors and still love them. So it's quite likely to be around for many, many years to come. It's nice that so much manufacturing is now coming back to its countries of origin. BSA is another one of those such companies, along with the likes of the Diana company and with their rifles. Hopefully, this is more about quality than mass-produced quantity, and will mean longevity of product for the end users. That's you and I. Nice one, BSA. A really nice all-round rifle that, of course, doesn't need any external source of air, just a bit of elbow grease. Hopefully, this has brought back a few happy memories for some of you and got you thinking about adding a nice Springer to your collection without needing to dig down the sides of the settees and chairs and going through your old coat pockets to see if you can get enough money together. Please give us the old thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't done already, feel free to share and click the old notification alarm bell to be notified of the next review due out. Check out this little lot and of course the AAR website. A big thank you to Vector Air for all their help as always, and the patience shown by their customers when they've walked in the shop to find me in there creating havoc on a Saturday. Most of all, a big thank you to you guys for watching and supporting the channel. Please stay safe and shoot safe, and hopefully I'll see you all next week. Bye for now.